Is it going? Welcome to the official after party of Rebels of Disclosure 2024. 2024, that's right. We're in
Wait, what
2024.
is it? 2020? No, what year
Yeah.
is it?
Um, Thank you all for being here. We had such a blast at the conference. The amount of overwhelming love that we've received is just unbelievable. And the feedback has been just phenomenal. And I don't know, Aaron. I mean, how
Yes.
was it for you? I know it
It
was magical.
it was magical. It was yeah, I mean the love, the energy, the amazing people that come every year. I mean, it's like an activation event like every year, and I feel like it keeps getting better every year too. So just thank you all so much for everyone who came, who supported and showed us all love and support, and everyone who bought my book, and everyone just everything from all of the speakers, the vendors, everyone who attended. It was all amazing. It was yeah, it was a magical, amazing time, and it's really something like you have to experience if you've
Right.
never been. Like you just have to show up and experience it. So thank
It,
you all
it
so much.
Yeah, it was definitely my favorite year yet. Not that the
Mhm.
first two were bad. I just thought this one was something special somehow. It had this
Mhm.
magical feeling and the vibes were up. We were laughing. The Sasquatch were closer this time. And like Margie Kay said, whenever she's talking to them, because she's in communication with one of them, they told her that our event is the only event that they come out for.
Oh, that's
And
right. She did say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And Sherry Divban had a physical sighting. Alexia Eisenhower's friends had a physical sighting. So we had two.
I didn't even know that, really.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sherry, we'll get into that in a little bit, but
Right, right.
there's some definitely some physical sightings. Actually, I was just on with Lily Nova on Monday. She's in the chat. Hey, Lily. And we kind of
Hey,
went
Lily.
over all the Sasquatch interaction and communication that happened there. And it's just amazing. The Skywatch the first night we had was by
Mhm.
far, I think, the most active Skywatch, and
Y- Yeah,
fine,
so far for the
yeah, I
3 years.
mean,
Yeah.
finally saw my first power up in a long time. We were just talking that night. I was like, man, I have not seen a power up, and it seemed like years, and then all of a sudden we get the big power up,
Hmm.
and if you guys
Yeah.
don't know what a power up is, it's just like it could potentially look like a satellite maybe. But it's cruising along and it just starts getting bigger and brighter and just
It's
glowing, and then
yeah.
it shrinks back down and then sometimes disappears entirely.
Hmm.
Uh, but we got a good power up the first night, and it was a lot of fun. It was just good vibes all around, and just thanks to all the speakers who showed up and all the people who showed up. And like Aaron said, everyone who bought your book, Aaron's on his book tour now. He's been doing
Yeah,
like 5 interviews in a row this week.
right there. Yeah, I'm on my virtual book tour right now. I know I got like 5 shows coming up, and I did a few before the conference. I
So
The conference was like a book signing thing basically, and now I'm doing like a whole bunch more shows. So yeah, it's not over yet.
so people are saying, can you guys hear us and see us okay? It looks like some of you can and some of you can't. Some people can't hear us, but they can see us. Other people can only hear us, but they can't see us.
I got
It,
audio.
yeah, it's working on my end. So, um, okay, yeah. So Lily, I just mentioned your name and you missed it. So that's what you get for not being refreshed.
Yeah,
She had to refresh her page. Um, Okay, cool. Everybody can hear us. So yeah, it's just gonna be Aaron and I for a few minutes, and then we're gonna bring in some special guests, and we have quite a fun lineup tonight. So we are gonna do this Q&A style. So if anybody has any questions for us or any of the guests that come in, just put them in the chat and put the word question in all caps in front of it so we can identify it amongst the other comments. So if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. And what else? I feel like honestly, so I woke up the last day after the conference Friday and I felt something shifted like fundamentally within me and maybe on the planet. I don't know, but I was like, what changed?
hmm
Something changed. And there just seems to be so much on the collective that's just been untied and let loose now. And like this Terrence
hmm
Howard um interview on Joe
Oh,
Rogan's podcast.
it's so good. I watched
Right.
the whole thing and then some of it twice. It's so good.
But it's like, okay, what's happening on a collective level that's allowing this information to just suddenly spill over?
Right.
Like it's just spilling over. It's like the container's full. There's no room left for bullshit. And uh yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just the ascension, in my opinion. It's everything coming to the surface that's been hidden. It's the energy's rising. It's, it's like all of it's happening so quickly now. Um, and things that for thousands of years have been suppressed are coming to the surface, like this information, like, you know, yeah, like you said, the fact that that's coming out on Joe Rogan, which is like, I mean, his show is bigger than all the mainstream media. It's like one of the biggest shows. It's getting out to so many millions of people, and then the reception of it. I'm looking at the comments on that video on YouTube, and it's 95% positive and like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, this is so great.
Yeah.
10 years ago plus, that would have not been the case. I guarantee you. Like,
No.
it would not have been like that, let
Well,
alone it
the
happening in the first place. So there's clearly a consciousness shift and activations and everything happening right now to allow that, like you said.
Right, and that periodic table that he introduced, obviously that's not something like brand new. People have been talking about that for years, but now
Hmm.
when it's hit the collective on a mass scale, and that's huge. So in a sense, it is brand new, and
Hmm.
it's resonating with tons of people. And my favorite thing of all this is the truthers out there that are doing videos saying, "Oh, Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan is a psyop,"
I've
and
seen
this,
it.
and I'm
Yep.
just like, it's like these. I'm sorry, like how since when is raising the collective consciousness a psyop? Like
Exactly.
that's what I don't understand.
It's
And these
not.
people, it's like some of these people, it's not about the truth to them. It's about their theory being right. And it's everything's a psyop until they've deemed otherwise. And it's like, come on, guys.
Well,
Like,
yeah, and it's like they're locked into this belief system that anything that happens on a massive scale like that, or anyone who he was an actor, oh, he comes from Hollywood, so he must be controlled and evil or both. Uh, and oh, he's on Rogan, so he must be controlled. It must be a controlled opposition thing because he's on Rogan and he was an actor. And it's not like, well, I'm like, did you listen to what he said? I'm like, did you just listen to what he said? Forget all that stuff.
right.
Take what he said, and it, like, if some no name person would have come out and said all the things he said, that I guarantee you most of those same people would have been like, oh, this is amazing. But because he was an actor, because it's coming out on Rogan, they have this belief system like, oh, it must be evil. It must be this trick to get us to like get us off track or something like that because of that. And I don't agree at all with that. I do think, yes, of course, always use your discernment if something is coming out in a big way, especially if it's on a big show or for an actor. Yeah, you want to be like looking out for that, but that doesn't mean every single time it's a psyop. It's a controlled opposition. It's, you know, whatever. Just listen to what they're saying and use your discernment with that. Don't just make the decision up front, which is what all these people I see are doing. Like most of these people, I guarantee you probably haven't even watched it, and they're just saying these things because of those reasons.
Right. And, a lot of, interestingly enough, is Mason Fury, who spoke at our conference. He's the first one that texted it to me. He said, dude, check this out. He's talking about the same stuff I talked about in my presentation. And,
Hmm.
the sound being connected to color and the tones and the frequencies and the like the sacred geometry of it all. And
Yeah,
so it's amazing. Like the timing of it is like extremely synchronistic, I guess you could say.
synchronistic. Yeah,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
and not just that, just I don't know, some of the things like all of a sudden the Vatican and is doing this thing. The Pope is gonna, what's he gonna do? I forgot what it was now. Oh my gosh, I have to read it. The Vatican is doing some type of debriefing or briefing about extraterrestrials to the public, but there was a certain name for it. Anyway, it's like their hand has been forced, and it's just all spilling over right now.
Right, right, right. Because here's the thing, like so much, especially in the truther community, which I mean, I don't even want to get too much in this, but it's like giving the dark so more credit and power than it has. I think that um it is the exact opposite. It's like the light has all the power, God, which we are all a part of, the light, love, that's where the power is. And the dark only has power because it's tricked beings into giving it power, essentially, um, to put it all in a nutshell. So, but I see so many like people, especially in the truther community, that think that it's like they've been under the psyop of thinking everything's controlled, everything's rigged, and which, yeah, to a degree it is, but they don't the whole trick, the bigger trick than all of that is that we are powerless and they have all the power and there's nothing we can do about it, because that's what they want us to believe. So we keep giving them power and keep creating the reality they want us to create, that they're tricking us into creating, right? Well, so many people in the truth community are under that spell and they don't even realize it, and they're continually feeding that
Right.
creation with thinking, oh no, I just know the truth and I'm calling out the BS and I know the truth. And it's like, some truths, some information, but you've fallen under the psyop and the spell of giving the dark all the power and not realizing you have all the power and we have all the power, because we're connected to source and the parasites are not, and that's why they have to trick us, feed off of us, and trick us into all of it.
So here's
So
what
yeah, that's what I have to say about, all of that. Like,
here's what I was
that's the
looking
psyop.
Here's what I was looking for. The Vatican to hold press conference on apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. And also alien disclosure is within the article. And Lily just said something in the comments. When I got messages from the future, they said big disclosure was coming with the Vatican and that spirituality and science would be bridging, which it's been bridged. It's just publicly going to be bridging.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they've even developed all these reverse engineered technologies, is because they've bridged the gap, But we're going to start letting in some of our guests. So, and guys, if you have any questions, again, just put them in the chat. Okay, here they come. Hopefully. What's up?
Hello.
Just so you know, you're live right
I
now.
saw that. Hello,
You're hot.
everyone. I was
You're
actually trying to watch the
What's-
Rumble here too,
Oh.
so I could be up to speed.
I'm
What's
trying
up?
Rumble to talk in the chat. I had it for a second. It keeps kicking me out. So I guess
Oh,
I'll chat with you guys here and face to face.
That's me kicking you out of the chat, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Tyler.
I was going to cause trouble anyway. How's
Right.
it going, guys? Hi, everybody.
Good.
How's it going?
guys?
How's it going? Can everybody hear? Can you hear Tony okay? Or is
Testing.
yeah, it sounds all right. Okay.
Yeah, you sound
So
good.
anyway, welcome to the after party. How-
Thank you.
How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing tonight, Tony? I'll start with you.
I finally feel like I've recovered. Was it Thursday, the week after? And I was sore for like 3 days after I got home. I had a nice, great trip on the way back after Coquille Mountains and went downtown and checked out St. Louis, caught a ball game. And
Nice.
it was awesome. It was a great trip altogether. So yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm on high spirits and back on the tracks. Like a lot of energy and a lot of connections made there after conferences. There's a lot of opportunity. And so we're kind of back at it, back to the grind. Hello, Niara.
Hey, Niara.
Welcome to the party, Niara. So, yeah, Tony, you stayed and you checked out the arch and you got some amazing drone footage. And I was like, "What are you doing?" I called him. I was like, "You're gonna that's a $15,000 fine." And he's like, "No, my drone won't let me fly that close."
Well, don't tell anybody on the air that I broke the local FAA the rules there, but
Right.
I flew it. The drone, it didn't want to land. Thank God it had battery in it. It was it's geo-fenced downtown there, and I did get some good footage and material for my book that I finished today. So
Oh, awesome.
Hey.
yeah,
When do you hit
I just
publish?
put a quick edit and press play on it. I'm hoping Jackie helps me with a couple things.
Of course,
Still.
I will.
Hi,
So how you
Jackie.
doing?
Hi.
How you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Keep trying.
Happy to be here. I thought it was a phenomenal conference. I left on such a high, and it was awesome. Really, it was a great, like probably my favorite I've ever been to.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
I feel the same way, and I
I-
told Aaron not even to like uh follow our own ego or anything like that, or because we threw it, but it just something special about that group of people this year was
Mhm.
I don't know what it was, but it really felt amazing, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you guys were able to be a part of it,
Same.
and yeah,
Me
so oh what
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
too. I was really happy to be there. I was really happy that you got me back in the saddle again after so many years away. And only good things are going to come of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Niara just got up there with no slideshow, nothing. She just winged it and had a mic, and she just knocked it out of the park. It was amazing.
You don't need a presentation. Yeah, that was
Right.
amazing.
I,
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. It was just like an evening with Niara, and it was thank you for, being brave and
Yes.
sharing your story. And I know you've started speaking locally, right, Niara?
Yeah, they want more too. They want more presentations. So I'm thinking about doing Q Anons and devolution.
Oh,
And
wow.
Nice.
that would be a good thing because I really follow that and I really think there is a plan. And I think we're getting if the trigger hasn't been pulled on the plan already, it's close.
Right.
So
Mhm.
has to be this year. Has to be this year.
Well, I mean, we were just saying before you hopped on, there's something's already happening. We're seeing this shift energetically anyway, and information is just spilling over right now, and they just can't keep a lid on it no matter what. So I guess they have to roll with it, and that's why the Vatican is doing a press conference to brief us on paranormal and spiritual activity, and not just the Vatican, but all these other companies. They all have their hands in the game, and now they're letting us. Well, obviously they're going to try to control it, but they're
Mhm.
talking about it, which is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Been a lot of happenings. I want to say the Niara's presentation not only was like freestyle, but it was super powerful. Like it was moving.
Yeah.
Niara, the
Thank
Yeah,
watch
it was.
presentation, it was moving. Like it was powerful. And God bless. I hope you keep it up.
I
And
will. Yeah.
on the world events, look at all the things that are taking place. People are stepping down, and there are major bad guys that are going away recently. And a lot of things seem to be changing. The winds have changed. And so, it's always, you never know. I, I don't know. I like to stay in the middle of the road, not thinking that they're good guys or bad guys, to be
Mhm.
honest. But
Right.
it looks like some things have changed just this week in all of
Mhm.
our favor. So
Yeah.
Right.
I sent you guys all a video that's on Twitter, and I hope you get a chance. I didn't send it to you, Jackie, but I will. But it was pretty explosive, in a good way. And I hope you take a look at it if you can. So it really, yeah, it was powerful.
Right. Yeah. I did read what you sent me. I didn't have a chance to watch it. I was getting things set up for tonight, but
Yeah.
it's definitely I don't know exactly, even I haven't been following too much. So when Tony, you're saying some big players have gone down, maybe I've heard about it, but who are you talking about?
Well, Klaus Schwab just stepped down from executive leadership or something like that.
Right. I did see that one. Yeah. So do you guys know any more about that?
I don't know much about it. But the whole Iranian president thing happened.
Mm.
We're seeing a lot of the retracting on some of the, I don't want to say it. Well, we're on Rumble, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's been a lot of retractment, whatever that word.
Retraction?
There's been a lot of that in the
Yeah.
pharmaceutical realm
Yep.
Mhm.
just recently, and we're seeing major people in the media that are doing an about face publicly. And so what this says to the people that are still believing it, all the crap from it, is they have to put a pin. They're kind of unringing the bell right before our eyes. So all the time, all the stuff that, and honestly, you guys were at the forefront of getting in trouble for it all back then.
Right.
You guys caught
We
hell,
were.
and so now
Yeah.
it's not a great. I told you so. It's not a good feeling to know
We-
that we were right.
We
about
literally
it.
lost our YouTube channel
Never-
for talking about it too much, or guests
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
it too much.
I will never say there's people in this community I could say I told you so to. I will never say I told you so. If we start talking, I will just say, how can I help?
That's beautiful.
That's what I say.
That's it.
How
Yeah,
can I?
exactly.
And there
Because it's
are
not
some-
about ego and I was right.
Yeah.
Haha. It's about thank you for waking up,
Hell,
and
these are
I
people's
love
lives.
you.
These are people's lives that are at risk. This is not an I told you so moment. This is a how can I help moment. And
Exactly.
the wellness company, and they have formulas to help people that have had the vax. There's the CSTAC protocol that's still out there. There's EES system that reverses the effects of the vax. There's so many things that I could direct people to that can help them, and I want to bring an EES system here to Pagosa Springs for our veteran community and the larger community.
Yeah.
Our veteran community really, really needs it.
Well-
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
And that's important because, whenever it's one thing whenever you get a letter in the mail and says something on your car has been recalled, right? But
Right.
it's another thing when you see on the news that a shot that you put in your body has been recalled.
Right.
And that's what's happening now. And what does that mean? So if we can provide people with protocols, and I know oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on her name. The woman who was at our Cheryl, who was at our conference with the med bed, the Tesla bed.
Joe
She
Arbogast.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she had a vaccine detox protocol she was giving out to people. And I mean that type of stuff is extremely crucial right now. So
Yeah.
people are going to be looking for answers and ways to
I have a protocol I got a long time ago when everything first started from Gene Decode. If you guys
Oh,
know
right.
of,
Yeah, of course.
We
Yeah.
we love Gene Decode. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
so I have information I can share, and I will share it with as many people as want to take advantage of it.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Jackie,
Absolutely.
did you have something you wanted to share with the audience this evening?
Well, actually, I don't know. Well, let me start on a dark note and take it like the first time I went to the conference, so I haven't been sick in 12 years. I hadn't been sick. Went to the conference, came home, I was so sick and I was pregnant. And I was like, weird, was I targeted? It's so easy to think those thoughts. So this year I'm like, no, we're gonna have the best year. I'm gonna prove that this is, come home and my sweet dog dies 2 days later.
Oh
Like,
no.
I literally called
so sad.
Tony and was like, I feel that I've been targeted. Like, because he had a tiny mass and I got home and it was like this big and open. And I wasn't, by the way. I think that me being separated from him gave him permission to start the process of leaving. And I got home. We got to spend 2 beautiful days together and he passed. However,
Oh, I'm so
I
sorry.
started thinking about doing meaningful things and making the most of life. And so I messaged Tyler right before and was like, I just bundled every course I've ever made on being more psychic and connected and making the most of your life. Can I please tell the audience that it's for sale at the low price of $222, please? Because I used to sell it for $5,000 and I just wanted to share that the only way for me to heal from this amount of grief, which I know some of us on here have felt or are still feeling, is to put love back out there and get people connected and remember that the soul is timeless and he's not separate from me. So the slight variant from talking about the conference, but super meaningful to me. So thank you for giving me the mic for a second to share. I sent the links and it's out there and it's literally 30 hours of training to the depths of things. I'm talking like D-class CIA documents, how to detox, what to change in your house, how to connect, how to start a service out of it, everything. I bundled it. It's out there. I have to do it for the world.
And that
That's
link,
amazing.
and thank you for that. And we did put the
Yeah.
link in the description. So it's if you use promo code JTT, you get it for $222,
Yeah.
and the link is below. And it's basically how many years worth did you say of research?
It's 10 years of me figuring out how to be more psychic, from the most like ancient spiritual teachings to like digging through declassified documents and what worked for me. And it's all in there.
Well,
And I
That's
feel
incredible.
amazing about it. And I love offering it to this community at a super discounted rate. And it is helping heal my heart. So thank you for letting me share it.
of course.
Yeah,
And we're
thank
sorry to
you.
hear about your pup. I've been
Yes.
following your Instagram story, and I recently just went through the same thing right before the conference, so I can relate, and we've been chatting back and forth, and
Yeah.
it's something that you don't really expect it to be as hard as it is, but it's just something beautiful in it at the same time. because you truly appreciate and honor the relationship we have with our pets and animals, and on a level that you just don't quite appreciate every day, you know, and
Mhm.
it's just a lot of beautiful revelations come from it. And you know, it's a new chapter for all of us. There's been a major shift after this event, and I feel in my personal life things are you know, being shimmied around, and I'm just I know that big things are coming. So we can see the silver lining. We can find the silver lining in everything right now, and I think we have a very bright future ahead of us. And anybody else can take the mic if they'd like, because I'm out of things to say.
So I will, real quick. I didn't want to come up here to my workspace because the last day I was with him, I brought him up, set him up by my little workspace so I could just keep an eye on him. It's the last place we spent time together where he was well. And I was like at the bottom of the stairs, like, man, I can't go up there. I can't go up there. His name was Apollo, by the way. I got up here, I looked out my window. It was the most beautiful sun I've ever seen living here. It was this bright golden orange sun. And I was like, you have to come up here. You have to remember the soul connection. Like his body's gone, but he's not gone. And I think it was him like shining to me through the sun in some way. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a different, you know, as many spirits, human spirits as I've connected to, or, you know, death doula work that I've done to help people as they progress into transitioning back into spirit form. Nothing prepares you for your own pet, nothing. But it
Right.
is like in the depths of our grief, we remember that we're spiritual beings. And it's been the most beautiful reminder of like, he's not gone. And focusing on that spiritual connection has been the focus of my past week. It's been a beautiful, heartbreaking, but beautiful week. So
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know what? One day you're going to look in the eyes of another puppy or another dog, and you're going to see him in there, and you're going to know that that's the one you bring home.
I wish for
Yep.
that
Wow.
someday. Not
Wow.
right now. He was
It happened to me. It happened to
Did
me
it?
not with my service dog. It happened to me with a parrot as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so
And
amazing. It's just
when
the soul's
you love
journey is
somebody,
amazing.
yeah, when there's such a deep love, they want to come back and be with you again.
Yeah. I mean, that there you go. There's a little
She's
hairless.
super connected
Oh,
to
Right.
him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, we've all had pets, but then we all have that one pet we have this really special soul connection with, where you're just telepathically communicating with them. You understand each other. There's this unseen
Mhm.
bond, you know, and that's what it was like with my dog. But through my mom had a dog that would never leave her side, and right after my mom passed, that dog passed. And it wasn't until years later when I got Maya, who just recently passed, that I found out, well, first of all, I felt it and I saw it. I'm like, is that Prince in another body? I was like, is that my mom's dog? I felt like it was the same soul. So I started reaching out to animal communicators and mediums, and from two different separate sources, they both verified it. So she came back, and so I got to see the same dog in two different bodies,
That's
essentially.
amazing.
And it was just, you know, maybe she'll come back again, but um yeah, wasn't expecting.
Tony had something like that. It's in Project Star Maker.
Mhm.
And you
Oh,
saw it
that's
in
right.
multiple bodies, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly. Yep.
Well, before we leave the subject of animals, there's a wonderful movie out there called A Dog's Purpose. And it's about a dog that comes back to his owner many years later when the owner has grown up. It's a beautiful film. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I'll check that
Yeah,
out.
definitely want to check that
Yeah.
out. And what was your story for the people who don't know, Tony? If you don't, if unless you don't want to share it, you don't have to. I'm not trying to make this all about
Some of it is kind of personal, you know,
Okay.
some of it is kind
Yeah.
of personal. Like
It's
there
in
are
the book. It's
It's in the
literally in
book. Yeah.
Project Star Maker. So
shameless
let's
plug. Now you got to buy the book,
Yeah,
right?
buy the
Right.
book and read it.
Project
it's not that
Star Maker.
personal
Right,
because
right.
thousands of people know it.
And
Right.
honestly, that particular story may be the entire reason why I'm even sitting here today with you guys. Like it may be the whole reason why the whole thing happened, and I got my memories back, and I went on to be a whistleblower and do the things I'm doing. Like that particular soul connection may be the reason that enabled it and
Right.
changed my
Wow.
life better. You know, well, you're not going to get me choked up here talking about Apollo and my dog Buster that was in the book. So I knew Apollo was my favorite. Nothing against Will, your other dog, and your cat, but Apollo was a very wise animal.
Mhm.
They're not all the same, and you can feel that. So Paula was a wise soul, you know. So I definitely feel your grief on that, Jackie, for sure.
Right.
I came down and got to visit you guys when you remodeled and help you out, and he was amazing to hang out with. We got along. So Will was kind of come and go. He could take me or leave me.
Yeah.
But Apollo stayed with me. We hung out. You know what I mean? Like we were dogs. I speak dog too.
You look like one too.
That's right. I'm a bit of a dog. Yeah.
Wait,
Own it, man. Part of the pack.
Oh, it's
is
fun.
that- yeah.
We got to lighten it up a little bit because it just dawned on me while we're talking about this. People who are just tuning in, they're like, "Oh, Rebels of Disclosure after party with special guests," and then they tune in and we're all sobbing over dogs.
Right.
And so,
It got emotional real quick.
right, yeah. But that's the beautiful thing about this. We never know where it's going to go, and something always comes through that needs to come through. And yeah, so that's what we're here doing. But does anybody have any questions for any of the guests here? I don't think I've seen any come through yet. So don't forget, you can ask questions. If you do want to ask a question, just put question in all caps in front of your comment so we don't miss it. And I'm going to scroll back up through just in case, just to make sure I haven't missed any questions.
I'm gonna
any-
step-
I have here. I have the remote viewing that I did, and Jackie's question. That was a trick question, according to one of the people that stood up, the guy that stood up. But what I noticed so I'm going to critique your work. I would change the number and use either all letters or all numbers,
Okay.
because it was hard to write down. I was kind of lost in it. So maybe that might give some people a reprieve. I've continued to get great reviews. I don't know about you guys, but every time I talk to somebody, they're so happy we did that. And I know a lot of people didn't get the target specifically, but they got abstract data of it and still enjoyed the exercise. But I played a game of virtual reality putt golf with Aziz Brown last night from Farsight. And I was like, man, I was on Journey to Truth last week and at the conference, and we did a live remote viewing. So I look up to Farsight. These guys are, Courtney Brown is amazing at what he does, and Aziz, all of them, all the Farsight people are heavyweights across the board. And so I'm like, man, it worked out good. I was so scared on stage. And he's like, yeah, I knew. Somebody had already went there and told, he's like, a friend came over and visited for dinner and said they were in the audience
No
and
way.
told about it. Yeah. And he knew all about it already. And so that was like when people you look up to greatly in the same field that you're working in, give you credit for the work that you're doing. You know what I mean? It was a big thing. And I would have
Yeah.
not had the balls to do it if Jackie didn't nonchalantly say, oh, we're doing it. I already told Tyler we're gonna have a remote view live on stage. I was like, "What, Jackie? Wait a minute. There's things that can go wrong." She's like, "Now we're gonna do it. Don't sweat it."
Nah,
Like,
we're gonna do
she was
it.
kind of like, "Don't be a pussy." You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't say
Right.
that.
You know what though?
Pretty
It was-
much.
It was
Yep.
super cool. And if for those who don't know, who weren't at the conference, Jackie and Tony, they did a presentation together, and at the end, they did a remote viewing experiment, I guess. Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, like a demonstration, a very
Demonstration.
Yeah.
dip your toe in the pond demonstration of how remote viewing works. I wanted people to know that you don't have to be a wizard. That it's everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. It's like riding a bike.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was super cool. And some people were, like you said, you had the stack of remote viewing workbooks that you had made for sale. Nobody touched them. After that, especially the people that nailed the target, the book sold out. And my dad was one of the people who bought a book. He was so blown away by his results. Like his was actually one of the really accurate ones. And it's like you let people realize, you helped people realize that like we have this already within us. I failed miserably, by the way, with with my results. I think I got one thing maybe close, but what it does is it just helps people understand, like it's a stepping stone, right? Eventually you might not even need remote viewing to tap into these psychic abilities, but it helps you exercise that muscle.
Mhm.
That's right. I'm hoping remote viewing is the gateway drug for people to get in touch with their higher power, their higher selves, and their inner ability, their intuition. Remote viewing is the gateway for that. It's a step-by-step protocol, and you get immediate results to know if you were accurate or not. And so a few times of practicing, a lot of people, the people that came in and said they'd never ever do it. I'll never remote view, but I want to visit, and I just want to watch and be a fly on the wall in your course, end up being very accurate. after a few times. You know, so you get out there 7, 8 targets, they're hitting the target. And once you learn that, you get the confidence to do other things like in the towards the direction of what Jackie does. And some of like those courses that the stuff that she offered, a lot of people are like intimidated by it. Say, well, I'm not a psychic, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I would for this and this reason, and you talk yourself out of it. And the reality is that we all are psychic every single day. We would not get through, mankind would not exist in the cartoonish world that it does if we didn't have some sort of intuition and communication with each other beyond what words. And so that's what it is. And it's all the same phenomenon, the same science. But the remote viewing, like I said, is a gateway drug, hopefully to get you addicted to your soul.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Boom, mic drop.
Right. Mic drop.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was such a cool experiment and lesson. And I just want to comment on something. So, you know, Niara, that was your first time speaking since 2018.
Mhm.
And, you know, it took a lot for you to actually get to the venue. You know, you had to rearrange a lot of stuff and find a sitter for your dogs and
Yeah.
you know, the whole thing. It was an
It-
effort.
Even more for me to get home.
Right. But what I noticed every time I was walking through the venue, I would walk past you and you just had this calm, relaxed look, but you were smiling. It was like this, but it wasn't a smile, like it was a smile of happiness, obviously, but it was this smile of gratitude. And like it was just emanating from you. Like it was just a beautiful, I even commented to few other people. I was like, you should look at her. She just looks so happy to be here right now. And it was inspiring me because, you know, it gets stressful sometimes. And it reminded me to be grateful. But I just wanted to comment on that because you just carry that energy. And I think it's so powerful.
Well, I took a coaching training years ago and excuse me, I learned that when you appreciate people, it actually increases your chances of appreciating the people around you more. Because when people take appreciation and gratitude in that you express to them, they feel really good and their own energy field expands with their own appreciation and their own gratitude. And then it touches other people and it just keeps growing as long as we consciously put the energy into that. You know, with some people it's kind of unconscious, but when you know that that's the process that's happening, it's really powerful. And I was very grateful to be there and I was very happy to be there and I loved everybody. I just loved everyone.
Yes, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And there was a question. No, the dates are not 100% locked in for next year. We will be making an official announcement about all of that, but there will be one next year. I just found you guys a week ago before your conference and couldn't get off work. We'll be doing another one before next May. There will be one next year. So yes, not before next May. No, I don't think we'll do that. But any other questions? So I have a question for any of you guys who want to take it. If you had to go up to somebody on the street who didn't know anything that was going on right now, he wasn't awake, and you had to explain to them our current situation, how could you do it? And what would you say to them? It's a tough one. Like in a nutshell, like, yo, what's going on? Like if somebody had just learned like about, they're questioning what's going on or why things are happening the way they are, and you had to give them the rundown, could you do it?
Well, for me, I would just kind of feel the energy of the person, try to grok where they're at. And then I would ask them questions about what they think is going on in the world today. And then ask them if they're open to hearing my view. And I would start an exchange that way, because sometimes when you draw people out and you get them to start talking about what they think and what they feel, for one thing, it creates a safe space between the two of you. And for second, you know, then it creates an opening in them where maybe they're interested in hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, that's the
Beautiful.
healthy, that's the
You said,
beautiful, healthy
Yeah.
way. But I'm
Mhm.
talking about the fire hose explanation.
yeah.
Fire.
Not necessarily
um,
like to a stranger, but
Mhm.
like
Well,
go ahead, Aaron.
I was just saying the problem with the fire hose is like, I think what Niara's point is that people just shut down unless they're interested in what you have to say. And there's so many people that do that. And like, what would you do if someone you don't know comes up to you and starts fire hosing you with a bunch of information that you know nothing about? Like, you're gonna be like, this guy's crazy, or get away from me, you know? So first you got to establish some kind of rapport and connection. And you know, there's a quote. It's people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So like, and until you have established that, like, you could fire hose. Like, I've done it before, and I can tell that people just, their eyes glaze over and they just tune out, and they don't care what I'm saying, and or it's just way too much for both. So I think that's first, and then you kind of, I would say, man, I don't know, because it's hard to wrap it all in a nutshell.
Well, my whole thing was I
Um,
was actually trying to challenge these guys to do it right now on the spot. If just get like if
like
they-
the
if they-
elevator pitch, like the elevator pitch.
like we were taken over by a evil cabal. Whatever. Go ahead.
Go ahead, let's take
Go for
turns.
Yeah.
Hey, so I need to know one thing though. Is this person in a happy oblivion, or are they like something's up? Help me.
You pick.
Happy oblivion, I'd be like, whatever you're doing, keep doing that.
Mhm.
Because that
Yeah.
can very much be. So I think that we live in an observer-based reality where that can be their reality for eternity. And if they were uncomfortable and like, what's going on? Can you explain this to me? Maybe I'm in a funky week, but I'd be like, yeah, turn off your TV and go camping for a week.
Mhm.
Because all the truth you need is going to be revealed then.
Mhm.
That's exactly what I would say to someone. I
Mhm.
would
Wow.
not fire hose them. I would not expose them to the debates. I would not get them addicted to try and figure things out. That's a dopamine hit. Oh, I figured it out. I did my research. This is what's going on. I know what these people don't. We get addicted to it. Be like, turn off your TV, go out in nature for a week. Everything you need to know will come to you.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent.
That is
That's
so
all
gentle.
Tony, you're up.
That is so gentle and easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Just tune into nature and kind of get in touch with your inner self. And, God, I love you, man, and tune in to be loving.
Yeah.
My approach, if I was going to fire hose somebody, that would happen in a kind of like listening to a nonsense. And then I kind of wait until the aliens get mentioned and
Mhm.
worm in. But I found that my information and what the things that I experienced that most of us in this meeting have experienced are hard to explain to people without a kind of a crack in the door. And you know what I mean? You can't just bust in, the Kool-Aid guy and bust through the wall and say, secret space programs are real, aliens are real, and they're running the government, and that's what's going on, and they own us, and you're paying taxes on nothing. Like, to do all that. So I start with the secret space program.
Mhm.
That, the government isn't in charge. There's 28 levels of security above the president. There's a secret ongoing space program that's been going on for 100 years. The Germans made it out of World War II. They're up there as well. There's radical technology that you can't even imagine. Check out my website.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. That's the answer I was looking for. Tony passed the
Yeah.
test. No,
Oh, it was a
I'm
test.
joking.
I didn't know.
I
No,
liked my
everybody-
answer.
Yeah, no, I think Jackie did some of the best
No,
work there, because nobody is gonna, like, I'm open for a counteroffensive by saying that stuff. So nobody's gonna
No,
argue.
but
with
I get
Camp.
the sentiment of your question. How do you educate someone who's asking, right?
Yeah,
Like, how do
right.
you get somebody from, if there's 100 levels and they're at level 4, how do you get them there?
Well,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
why I would ask the question too, because you never know what's on their mind. It's
Right.
like I come up to somebody and they're looking lost and saying, hello, are you doing okay? What are you thinking or feeling right now? You look like you need some help. If somebody says, well, I just found out that the vax is really bad, and I've taken the vax and 3 boosters, and I'm really worried about this shit in my body right now. Then I would know exactly what to talk about with them and exactly where to guide them to possibly help detox from that. So that's why I would ask a question. I don't know if I'd start with UFOs straight out of the chute unless I just asked a question. Have you ever seen strange things in the sky that weren't craft? Wow,
Yeah, you believe in
man, I
UAP?
saw something over here.
Oh yeah, I had a sighting
know,
once, and it was,
Opening,
and they'll,
it makes opening to really
Right.
give more information and start to red pill them And when I did
Yeah.
my presentation here in Pagosa Springs, I was kidding people, but I really did it. I said, I'm going in there with both barrels loaded. I'm going to discharge them and then I'm going to reload. You know,
Nice.
but I really wanted to get people. In a way, I did the same talk that I did at Journey to Truth, but I went into a lot more depth at Journey of Truth. But I told them about my experiences. I told them about the most disturbing thing about everything I've experienced is secrecy in government that has allowed a cancer in our society to grow unnoticed and to metastasize into what we're seeing today. You know, that's the one thing that I find the most disturbing about all of this, because once we get on the other side of this and we get the world turned right side up again, we need to understand that we can never have that kind of secrecy without any public or congressional oversight ever again.
Right. Well said. Absolutely well said. So welcome to the after party, Sherry and Margie.
Hi,
guys.
guys.
Thanks for joining us. So we have, we're just taking questions from the audience right now. I don't know if you guys have been listening beforehand or not, but before we do that, I'll give you guys a chance to just share your experiences at the conference and, just say hi to everybody. Sherry, we can start with you.
Well, hi everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm recouping because I'm sick and I came home to one sick kid, two sick kids, three sick kids, a husband sick, a dog and two dogs and a cat, and I was the last to get it. So it's been a really crazy few weeks. I'm still like out of it, so maybe I shouldn't say too much, but it's been crazy. But I had such an amazing time with all of you guys, and I think I hung out with each and every one of you. And I think Margie, I just want to say my favorite night was spent with you around the campfire. It was really a special moment for me. I'll remember that forever. But I had a great time and I learned a lot from, I think, everybody's presentation. I took something away from everyone's. They were so good, so different, but just collectively so inspiring. And it was just really beautiful to be a part of that group of presenters and the audience that comes. There's such a amazing. I have made so many friends from the Journey to Truth crew, I call it, the community. And I feel like every time I see these people, it just, the relationship gets stronger. So yeah, it was amazing for me.
Right. And apparently everybody that came to the conference just to see Sherry.
Stop
Yeah.
That-
Yes.
I'm just giving you shit. So Sherry's like, so many people said they came just to see me. No pressure, right?
And that was a lot of pressure. Why do you come up to me on the day of my speech to tell me that you came to see me? And I'm like, that's too much pressure.
Right.
So tell us about this night with Margie around the campfire. What was so special about it? Was Margie just telling some stories or?
Yeah, I just felt like fangirling. And by the way, I'm not the type to be like that. I never really am that intrigued by anybody ever. So Margie came and sat next to us in the campfire and she just started talking about her stories. And I swear at one point I was like in a dream, like it was amazing. Like I could have listened to Margie talk for hours. She scared the crap out of me at one point, and I did not want to go back to my room because I was worried about being attacked by Dogman for the second year in a row. Like no joke. Thank God my husband was with me this year. But yeah, we shared stories. We looked for UFOs. We were communicating with Sasquatch, and it was just special. That's all I can say. Margie, thanks for hanging out with us because I really enjoyed your company and your husband's company and our little group that we had, because a lot of people were somewhere a few different other places, and we had a beautiful intimate group, which was hard because most people every night would hang out, which was great. But it's hard to really have an intimate conversation when the group is that large. So that night was really special for me. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, what kind of stories were you telling, Margie?
That was a lot of fun. It was fun hearing your stories too, Sherry. I think, well, I told a few stories about things that had happened to me in the past, but I think the most unique thing was calling in the UFOs. We kind of did on like a mini CE5 with the whole group and calling them in. And a few minutes later, I saw something to my right. A couple other people saw it, and it just moved across the sky and stopped. And it was kind of hard to see. It was kind of fuzzy, but at one point it kind of cleared up and it was definitely a triangle with 3 lights, and it had real fuzzy but kind of defined edges as well. And it just sat there and sat there and sat there in the same place for a long time. And so I'm thinking that, given the fact that we had kind of called Val Thor in during my talk, that was him letting everybody know that he was there, but he didn't come in close. He stayed far away. And I got the message that some of the people there were not quite ready for a real close encounter, up close and personal. So, but they made themselves known and people saw it. And then a little bit later, I sensed that the Sasquatch were around, circling the area. And then when I was talking to Sherry and some other people in their smaller group there, it was kind of quiet later on in the evening. And all of a sudden I felt them moving close. So I just said, let's just all look around in different directions and see what we see. And sure enough, maybe I want to say, maybe 50 to 80 feet away, there was a big, probably 8-9 foot tall Sasquatch who materialized, but he was transparent. It was a blue, everything was blue, kind of like this real dull blue light, but you could clearly see the defined face, facial features, large male Sasquatch. I don't know if it was the one that I met last year named Okondo. Kind of think it might have been, because he was the most defined of all of them. And then gradually, as I looked around, there were others, and other people in the group saw them too. So that
Right.
was really a unique experience, and one that you can depend on every time you go to that location.
Yeah. So actually, this reminds me, the first night after the Skywatch, we came down by the bonfire, and I was sitting there with Sherry and a few other people. And Sherry, you seen something walk or run between the cabins or between the trees? Can you explain that?
Yeah, we were all hanging out, and I think it was in the exact same spot. And in between my cabin and whoever's was across from me, I saw like a very large shadow of like 8-foot being just walk across, and I thought there was something next to it, like another one. And it startled me because I wasn't even thinking about, anything. And I was like, did anyone else see that? And nobody else saw it but me. And I was like, I swear, I'm not making it up. Like, I just walked between the building very slowly, but like sideways, like he was looking this way, and I saw the side view of him, or I
Right.
assume it was him. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, so I was
That's
right next to
amazing.
you. I was facing the other way, but you saw it. So when you said it, I looked. I didn't. It was too late. But the next morning, Alexia Eisenhower came up to me and she goes, "Hey, what color are the Sasquatch here?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Actually, no one's ever said anything really about the color, at least not that I'm aware of." And she's like, "Well, my friend swears up and down that she saw one peek its head around a tree and look at her, and it was white. And then she said it walked from cabin to cabin, and it was literally the same exact cabin that you saw something walk in between. And I asked her what time, and it was minutes apart, like right before we came down for the bonfires when she saw it. And then so it was
Wow.
so what I'm thinking is like we've got some actual physical sightings this year. Not
That's
just
incredible.
not just the telepathic communication and the tree knocks and the vocalizations. Like, some people are starting to see them. And Margie, didn't you say that they told you that our group is the only event that they come in close for?
Yes, they did. They told me that last year, when I remote viewed, when I got the knocks on the cabin and I knew it was Sasquatch. They said that they stay away. They're still in the area, but they don't come in close except for this group. And it's because of the energy level of the group, the consciousness level.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So, by the way, any of you guys that are here, if at any point you have to run, you can just hop off. You don't have to stick around forever, because I don't know how long we'll actually be here. So don't
Okay,
feel
bye
bad.
everyone. Just kidding.
Yeah. Don't
All
feel
right,
bad if
sweet.
you
All
have
right,
to go.
everybody leave, right?
Yeah, everyone leaves right now.
So somebody did have a question. Any idea who you'll be asking to present next year at the conference? I'd be happy if it were the exact same people. Just curious if there are any other people you're hoping to have. Definitely not having any of these people back. No.
Yeah, definitely not.
Um, No, so we don't know yet. That's a very tough decision for us to make every year, and
Yeah.
that will be disclosed way closer to the event next year. Will you
Try to
guys
change it up to a degree because we want to have the exact same conference.
Right.
But we also don't want to not invite any of the same people back, so we have to make a tough decision every year of,
Right.
who do we choose?
And somebody said, will you guys be speaking in Mount Shasta or any other retreats this summer? So I guess we could take this time if anybody is speaking at any other events. I know I'll be speaking actually at Margie K's event, XCon, in October 11th through the 13th in Springfield, Missouri. I spoke last year was the first year. This is the second year. And I know it's going to be even bigger this time. So tickets are available for that, I think, at unxnetwork.com. Is that?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so grab a ticket to that. And Aaron and I are going to be speaking at an event at the end of September in Tucson, Arizona. The details are still being worked out for that. So, and then I'll be speaking at Star Knowledge Conference in November, actually. I'm excited about that. And Tony, don't you have something you're doing in October?
Yeah, I'm off to France at the beginning of next month for the Chris Lasson's conference. And then I'll come straight back to Tampa for the Brian's conference.
Right.
And then the one in September, I'll be at GSIC in September. And then in October, I'll be at Devara Thunderbeats. And then I'm hosting mine, the Odyssey Sedona conference. That'll be in Sedona. Sorry, I'll keep that up. So that's my plug. I got my little flyer out for you guys. I'm hosting that, and then I'll be at the Team Light one at the end of that one, and then I'll be meeting you in November. I'll be out there with you, Tyler, at that one. So it's a busy year. It's busy. Unreal.
You got a lot going on.
Yeah,
Right.
it's Unreal this year. So you know what that says to me? That it's working. We're getting out there.
Yes.
You know what I
Right.
mean? If every year we get busier, you have more people to talk to, more people that want you to do it. If it grows every year, that's the plan. We're getting the info.
Mhm.
The idea is not to just get out to conferences and sell stuff. The idea is to get the information into the ears of people that never heard it, and that means we're winning. If every year it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are doing better stuff, and the quality of the information is also getting better. So
Right.
that's the thing. We're growing. We're on an upward trajectory now. So I'm blessed to be
Absolutely.
here. I don't, who knows how one day I'll be chopped liver and it'll be the next person that's got better information that's coming, and that's a good thing. But for right now, it's growing. It's what we're doing is working. So
And I agree.
Yes.
And that's a
Amen.
beautiful way to look at it. And your event in October 19th. So I'll actually be there.
we'll have Jackie too.
Oh, Jackie's going to be there.
Yay.
And
Oh,
Lily.
that's right. Jackie's going to be there. And Lily Nova is going to be there. Aaron's going to be in Peru, which I'm kind of
I'm-
jealous about.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
in Peru,
Which is an amazing
Tony's jealous
trip.
about it, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm like second fiddle already to that one. I'd rather be in Peru too.
Mhm.
Right. So
Otherwise I would
Octo-
definitely be there. But
So
yeah.
the one in your event, Tony, it's just a 1-day hit though, which is interesting. And Journey to Truth is going to be a sponsor, so I'll be there doing something. But what do you want to just tell people about it really quick?
Yeah, it's my first one. So we did a 1-dayer. It's going to be a fast, rapid fire format. We're going to have speakers in between speakers. It's based on meditation and the remote viewing stuff. So it's that kind of crowd that's going into Sedona. It's in partnership with the Humankind Meditation, like a big group of people that do meditations for helping the world. Really, really good, really righteous group. But we're going to do a retreat. I'm doing a Talks with Tony, like a tier 3 retreat for 3 nights before that, where we're doing targeted meditations, remote influencing, remote viewing workshops. So that's there. And then the main conference itself is at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness, like a 200 people venue, about the size of the room you guys get. And so it's a 1-day thing, rapid fire. The idea is that if we pull it off, then there'll be one in 6 months, and maybe possibly in Phoenix, and then another one next year that'll have a bit larger format. So yeah, that's how it came to be. It was kind of like just an idea we tossed around and said, you know what, let's do it. And so
Right.
here we are.
And yeah, so I'll be coming straight from Margie's event to that. So Margie, if you want to just tell our audience a little bit about the XCon, actually is what you call it, and just to let the audience know, whoever's interested in coming.
Yeah, XCon this year is Into the Rabbit Hole again, which was our theme last year, but now we're doing it once again. And we're covering several different subjects, of course, UFOs, ET contact, Sasquatch. We've got Scott Nelson talking about Bigfoot language. He's one of our keynotes. Peter Robin is a keynote, and Robbins. And, Mothman, we've got some Mothman experts coming. Not me this time. Just a variety of subjects. And we're in the very haunted Oasis Hotel in Springfield. So what more can you ask for? So we're definitely going to have a lot of paranormal events on Friday, including a ghost hunt and workshops with showing how people how to use equipment, with doing their ghost hunting, how to use dowsing rods, and we've got some really good speakers, vendors. Of course, we're doing our banquet, our Mad Hatter costume party, and all of that. And I am also busy this year. I'll be speaking at St. Louis MUFON next month. I'll be a keynote speaker at the Geneseo, Kansas UFO Festival, July 6th. I'm going to be doing the Advanced Esoteric Workshop over 2 days, June 1st and 2nd. Those are 2 full days that I'm teaching online. September 6th, I will be a guest speaker on the Contact at Sea cruise out of Seattle to Alaska. And that's at contactatsea.com. And if you'll use my name when you register, that would be great. So we're hoping for a lot of good things to happen on that cruise, including seeing the Northern Lights and seeing some UFOs.
Yeah, that cruise actually looks really interesting. I guess
It
it's
does actually, yeah.
so is that Contact in the Deserts the same people putting that
No,
on? It's not?
No,
Okay.
it's whole different people.
Okay.
And,
I
and
see.
she's got some really good speaker lineup.
Yeah, actually, I saw Vivian
does.
Chauvet.
I saw that.
Vivian Chauvet is going to be there. She was also a
Mhm.
presenter. She couldn't make it. She zoomed in, but yeah, it sounds amazing. So, what else? Do we have any other questions? Okay, Jackie might be able to, or any of you might be able to answer this one. Question: advice if you start seeing spirits. I would say first vet them, make sure they're of the light. But
Do you
anybody want
want
to take that?
Do you want to see them? Or do you
Well,
want to
that's
stop
just
it?
it just says advice if you start seeing spirits.
Well, ask yourself first, do I want to see this and engage, or do I not want to do this? Because that's a really key question that people don't realize that they need to get straight with themselves about. Like if you have personal beliefs that it scares the crap out of you and you don't want to figure out what it is, good or bad, it's just not a part of this path or this journey, then what works for me is to say, I'm not here to engage with you, leave. Or I'm not working. That's what I say. I'm not working.
Right, I'm
But
clocked out.
I always did want to work with them. So the next thing to say is, are you here for me? Because sometimes we're perceiving them because they're doing other work. They're showing up to get your attention for someone else, or they're showing up for you. So there's like layers of understanding who or what it is. So then if they say, yes, I'm here for you, then you say, who are you? And you just take one level deeper. And if at any point you're like, I don't want this, you take a deep breath, empower yourself, and you say, I'm done talking to you, go. And 9 times out of 10, that works. And if that doesn't work, you need to call someone like myself or Margie, who does this for a living, and get help, get guidance and get help. That's my best advice. But maybe Margie wants to weigh in on that as well.
Oh, I 100% agree with everything you said, Jackie. They all have different objectives and reasons for being there. They could be attached to the property and just want to hang out there, which is probably 80% of what I see in the field. It's someone who used to live there and they're attached to that space. And then in a few cases, the spirit is attached to the person. But if you don't know what you're dealing with and it's something strange, just give one of us a call or somebody local a call to come in to deal with that. Because if you get someone who's psychic or remote viewer, they can probably contact that spirit fairly easily and find out what their purpose is.
Right. So basically
Yeah.
you're dealing with the real life Ghostbusters right here. So
Yeah.
Often what's funny is because it's kind of scary, they do look like shadows often, or they'll disturb things in our home. And when people call me for that, The majority of the time, it's actually their relative, a loving relative trying to get their attention, but we're so programmed that the supernatural is scary, you
Mhm.
know, that they just can't calm themselves enough to actually tune in.
Right.
Not to say there aren't, you
Yeah.
know,
Right.
other
Sher
spirits out there, but
Sherry, do you have kids that like any advice for their children? Because I know you work with children all the time. Do they start seeing spirits and have questions about it? Do you ever deal with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, almost every single client has that fear because their children can see so much more than we can see because as we get older, we close it off a lot of times by choice. And actually, Margie and I talked about at the campfire that night, we talked about this exact thing because a lot of the children that I talk to, they see the shadow beings with the red eyes. Not all of them have red eyes. Some of them are just there and they're attracted to the light and they mean no harm, but they scare the children. The ones with the red eyes tend to be the ones that are there to taunt them because they have that hive mentality and they literally go to torment children. That is their purpose. So the advice that I give to all of them, including my daughter, who is severely attacked, not so much anymore because she finally listened to me after years of me trying to coach her, was they feed off, they feed off our fear. So I just tell them to ignore them completely. Like you don't even care that they're there. You walk right through them. You don't, and that's hard to coach a child because they are so, it's so easy for them to show their fear because they don't lie, most of them anyways. So their natural reaction is fear and they feed off of that. But if you teach them the children to be in control of that fear and to tell them, I even told my daughter, and I'm going to cuss in a second, I apologize in advance, but I told my daughter she had permission to tell them to fuck off. And she told me one time, she said, Mommy, I did it. And I was like, well, did it work? And she said, yeah, it was gone. So sometimes, you can assert your dominance and you tell them that I don't consent to you being here. But majority of the time that's not necessary. I teach them to just completely ignore them because the fear is what they're attracted. Well, the light is what they're attracted to, but the fear is the leash they feed off of.
Right.
And that's kind of how I cut it. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's kind of a quickie.
Right. No, I
Yeah,
agree.
totally.
But asserting dominance or just honestly truly learning how to not be afraid of them, which that takes time. But like from me being attacked psychically and astrally for years, eventually you just once you understand that fear is just an illusion, whenever they show up and you're just truly not scared of them anymore, and they almost look confused. They don't
Yes.
understand. They don't understand how you're not afraid, and you just completely take their power away. You just suck the
Yeah.
wind out from their sails and they either just like wisp away or they're gone. Like they can't once they realize that you're not scared of them, they've lost all their power, and
Yeah.
Right.
it works every time. But then I'm not gonna lie, sometimes they catch you off guard and startle you, and even though sometimes you try not to be scared, like it's still pretty freaky whenever you're actually seeing something, not just like psychically, but when you're seeing something. It's difficult. We're tested all the time, and
Oh, yeah.
that's when it really takes some strength. And like, okay, you got to call in whatever it is you need to call in, and I do that nuclear explosion of white light, and you just have to like
Mhm.
really be in your heart, and once that blast of light hits them, usually they just fly away like Team Rocket from Pokemon. If
Yeah.
anybody's ever watched that.
Yeah,
Um,
I teach children two things. One, I call it a light bomb. So exactly what you just said, I teach them to have their light bomb explode. But what works the most, I think, is when children are afraid, is calling on the animal kingdom. That works the most. That's the most effective, and they can't believe it. And they'll call on their animal totem or the animal of their choice or the entire animal kingdom. And I've never once had a parent come back and tell me that did not work for their child. So that's even more powerful. If
Interesting.
there's
There
fear,
you go.
if there's fear. Yeah.
Wow. Niara, Tony, you have anything to add to that?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Time's up.
I think that's better advice. They give you better advice than I'm gonna.
I've
Um,
used blue light. I put myself in blue light,
Mm.
and I have a mantra that I sing. So I haven't had too much trouble. I've been under such powerful protection. I remember I was staying at someone's house one time down in New Mexico, and supposedly it was on Indian burial ground. So in the middle of the night, I started having a nightmare, And I woke up and it was kind of scary. But I saw, and I energetically saw my mantis being spirit guardian is what I call him, not a spirit guide, but a spirit guardian. He's huge, really tall. And I'd never seen him in this mode before. Normally he has these placid opal looking eyes. And this time when he was protecting me, his eyes were glowing red orange. And he had his hands out like this. And there was like wings attached to the arms. And he said, "This woman is under my protection. Leave now." And I thought, if I was that person, I would leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have had really strong protection around me. My Lyran family's around me. So I haven't really been bothered, but I did have that time with a shadow being where I had to get control of my own fear and send it away myself. And I'd been studying with a mystery school at the time, Brotherhood of the White Temple, out of Sedalia, Colorado. And I had little booklets from them. There was some words in there that made these things go away. But I didn't realize that. I had a nightmare, and the nightmare was really scary. And it felt like something was trying to get a hold of me, like attach and control me. And so finally, I went to somebody's house in the dream and pounded on the door, and he opened the door, and I said, "I need help." And then I woke up in my bedroom, and whatever had been in my dream was in the bedroom with me. And that friend that I went to, he woke up at the same time of the night. We checked later together, and I told him about my dream and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, "I woke up 3 in the morning thinking I should call you," you know. And so I laid there and I was really scared. My little girl was asleep in her crib, and I didn't know what to do. I was afraid to even move because this shadow being was over by the window, head and shoulders, and faded out below the waist to nothing. And there were no red eyes, but it was just really scary. It was like the energy in the room was like someone crashing their hands down on piano keys, and every chord they hit was discord. You know how discord music makes you feel? It's yucky. And that's how it felt in the room, really loud, even though it was no sound. It was energy that was just really loud. So finally, I just thought, I can't keep up like this. I got to do something. So I went and got those books. I said those words, and boom, they were gone. The thing was gone. Then I saw these 3 light beings on the other side of the room, which I learned later was my Lyran family. And they were kind of testing me. They were saying, "We're going to see if she can get control of her fear and handle this, because she has some heavy duty things coming up in her life," which was going in the military and having the experiences that I had. And I feel like if I hadn't have conquered my fear in that moment with that being and sent it away, I probably wouldn't have gone into the Air Force and had the experiences that I had. My life would have just taken a whole completely different turn. And it was very clearly a test, but I didn't realize it was a test until maybe 5 or 6 years later. It just hit me all at once that it was a test
Right.
to see if I could conquer my fear, which I
And-
did.
And that's a great
Yeah.
point, because I really do believe that a lot of the stuff we encounter like that is training in a sense. It's
Yeah.
a test. It's like somebody told me one time, well, just look at it as training. You
Yeah.
know about this stuff. You talk about it, you interview people. Now,
Mhm.
what are you going to do about it? And it's like the self-mastery course, but that you didn't sign up for, but really you did. And it's true though. I'm like, okay, so how am I going to respond in this situation? Am I going to give it my fear or not? And then once you overcome that, they're like raptors testing the fence. They'll try new ways and new tactics, but then that's another tool under your belt, and you start to develop all these tools to start protecting yourself and clearing, and eventually you can start sharing that information with other people. So if you are under attack all the time, or it seems like it, you can find the silver lining in it and understand what you're learning from each and every attack or each and every experience. And then you start sharing what you did and what you learned with other people, because I guarantee other people are out there are going through the same thing, and they need to hear exactly what you have to say.
And there's one other thing I'm going to mention here. And hope there's nobody out there listening who's too attached to their medical marijuana. But when I was having really bad PTSD and not able to sleep in apartments and stuff like that, I started smoking medical marijuana to help me get to sleep at night, because I was seriously sleep deprived. I just had to sleep. And that opened the door to energy attachments, to entity attachments. And then a friend of mine here in town saw the entities that were attached to me, and she told me somebody that could clear them. And I went to him, and he says, "These are really high level dudes, Nira. What do you do for a living?" And I told him about my experiences in my book, and the things that I talked about and everything. And he says, "Well, that explains it." He says, "These guys are here to really try to keep you under control." And he got rid of them, and I stopped using any marijuana at all, and no more problems.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, substance abuse, obviously, I mean, it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be abuse, but sometimes you open yourself up to that stuff. I mean, it's literally
Yeah.
spiritual warfare right now.
Yeah,
And
make a crack in your aura, and they come right in.
right.
Yeah.
Even prescription medication will do that too, especially painkillers.
Hmm.
I'll
Well-
see people's crown chakra just open wide open and they're not even protected at all. And things jump right into the crown chakra.
Yep.
So
You
that's
mean
when
like
possession can happen.
you mean the
Yeah.
people that are on pharmaceuticals you'll see
Yeah.
that with?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's when it
Well, and
becomes
also alcohol. I first noticed
yeah.
it years ago when I was playing in bands and be playing, and then about towards the end of the evening when everybody was getting liquored up, there were these little things that looked like demons, winged demons that were about 1.5 feet tall, that were sitting on the wine bottles behind the bar in
Mhm.
this place where I was playing with a house band. And you would see them jump out, and all of a sudden the crown chakras of a few guys that were there out on the dance floor would jump in to their heads, and they would instantly change their personality. They
Hmm.
became aggressive, angry, starting fights,
Yeah.
being really rude to women. And I
Yeah.
knew what was going on. They were possessed. And for most of them, it was just a momentary thing. These were guys that would just go out on the weekends and drink. But for people who are seriously drinking all the time, the possession is 24 hours a day.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I
well,
have a question here. Are some, at least some, if not all, pharmaceuticals designed for that? To allow entities to come in?
Wow, that's a good question.
I'm sure.
I was gonna say that the legalized marijuana that they have, like I'm in Michigan, they legalized it. The stuff from the dispensary is not weed. Like, it's weed, but it's got a host of other chemicals in it. It's
Yeah.
not the same. It's
Mhm.
way more. There's like a hangover and everything. It's not what it used to be. So the official stuff, they legalized it, and then now these dispensaries have all these chemicals in it. So yeah, there probably is. You gotta look at the money in big pharma. They probably have a good read on a lot of tech that we are unaware of.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And specifically the voice of God technology, just from doing the research on that, for whatever reason, it works better on people who are using pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceuticals
Mhm.
work in tandem with that technology. It keeps the collective, whoever is taking pharmaceuticals, at a specific frequency
Mhm.
to where the technology actually is more effective. And that's in writing. So it's another reason they want everyone heavily medicated. And the homeless people that are all walking the streets in the cities that are talking to themselves that are, heavily medicated, unfortunately, they're guinea pigs to this technology and they're being experimented on sometimes. So that they might be schizophrenic, or they might be actually talking to someone on the other end of a device. And Margie, to your
Yeah.
point about people jumping in whenever you're drinking, and all of a sudden, oh, Steve's a completely different person when he's drunk. Well, that's exactly right. And people wonder why relationships fail and stuff when these people go to the bars and they meet their spouse whenever they're out drinking. Well, their demon is meeting someone, hooking up with someone else's demon. And the only time that couple ever gets along is when they drink, and that's what we have happening on a large scale. And it's really sad, but it's pretty apparent once you start becoming aware of this stuff.
Trauma bonds, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's two very unhealed people probably with demon attachments and any attachments getting together, and then there you go. I mean, alcohol's been, you know, forever. It's like we've all heard all the stories, or some of us have had experiences of like an abusive alcoholic father or whatever, you know. And what people don't think about a lot is what we just talked about, that it's more than just the physical substance. There's a spiritual thing going on here, and there's entities attached and all that kind of stuff going on as
Alcohol is
well.
alcohol is actually called spirits.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's why it's called spirits.
Yeah.
So,
And
Jackie, did you have
pharma,
anything
and
to
then
add?
pharmakia means sorcery.
Mm.
That's what the word literally translates as, and that's pharmaceutical. Like they're literally telling you, you know, what it is.
Mhm.
So there's that too.
What are your thoughts on all this, Jackie?
So if someone books a medium session with me, I say, like, please don't consume drugs or alcohol for 24 hours before, because it would be similar to trying to tune in when someone's changing the channel constantly. Like, I cannot get a clean, straight connection. So that's experiential. And then on the pharma side, I didn't know this, and I'm not I mean, this is just straight up statistics from my sessions with people, but when there's a suicide, if I'm connecting to somebody who's committed suicide, I would say, I don't know, 80 to 90% of the time that person is on Valium.
Mm.
So I think there's something, and when I've tuned in and asked before, I do feel like it was a tested substance, and that it was known the spiritual impact it has on people. I do get that
Mhm.
sense. And this is only based on my experience as a medium. So
Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
somebody just released some sort of form that showed the side effects of the prescription drugs, and one of the side effects that was common across a few of them was actually suicide. It
Yeah.
it was a legitimate side effect in this paperwork that's now coming out that they don't really release they don't put it on the bottle. So how would you know that unless there's been studies done, right?
Yeah. And it's always like, well, they started adjusting the doses, and then within weeks or months, the person took their own life. It's like it became a pattern after 12 years of sessions. And now I just straight up ask, do you know if this person took Valium? And it's more like out of research for myself. But it is, Valium is a muscle relaxer, right? And there's tons of muscle relaxers out there now, but they don't have the impact of people who take Valium. So I'm calling it out.
Yeah, call out the V.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of drugs that list suicidal thoughts as a side effect, and it's like,
Mhm.
if there's a drug that can make you want to take your own life as a side effect, like, what is that drug really curing? At
Right.
that point, for one, and for two, what other behaviors can they induce? What other behaviors can they give you a drug for and induce you to do what? I mean, how unnatural is it to think to take your own life in the middle of your life? So that's like the worst, 180 on your whole existence. What other behaviors can they give you in a pharmaceutical or on a potato chip
Right.
or some other thing that make you behave a certain way,
Mm.
if that's
Yeah.
possible, So
Right.
Mhm.
I
Right.
feel
Why
like
do they have
Ambien is the same way too. Oh, sorry, Margie, go ahead.
I was just going to say, why do they have antidepressants that make you depressed and suicidal? They
Yeah.
say
Right.
it right on the TV commercials.
Right.
Right. It's like it's literally doing the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Right.
Well, and then to me, it's like, and then even when they work, it's basically usually just putting a Band-Aid on a symptom. It's not actually curing anything, right? And then
Yeah.
it keeps the problem going because you don't actually cure the root problem. So they got you for life or for however long,
Yet nobody gets
or it makes it
healthier on
worse.
Valium.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody gets healthier on Valium. In fact, people long term don't get healthier on
No, it's
really
not.
much.
It's not healthcare. It's sick care, and
Yeah.
it keeps you suppressed, and it just bandages the symptoms and keeps it going. It keeps you suppressed, and then along with all the other stuff we just talked about. So, like, they don't want the actual cures. They don't want actual, the good things that are actually helping people, because that, and we can go down the rabbit hole. Obviously, with it gets dark in my opinion and all that, but like they don't actually want us healthy and cured, because then we can't be controlled. You know, to put it simply, it's tied into the control system. Like the pharmaceutical is one of the biggest aspects. The health industry is one of the biggest aspects of it, in my opinion. And you know, why would they want us to be healthy and free and sovereign? Then they can't control us. Then we can take it back our power, which is what's happening anyway right now. But it's like things are getting so bad right now and so crazy that people are waking up and being like, oh, wait a second, there's something else going on here, that things are not what I've been sold, you know, what we've been told they are.
Right.
Can I just jump down a rabbit hole then real quick?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Sherry, were you gonna say something too?
Oh
or
yeah,
not?
go ahead, Sherry.
No, I was just gonna say, Ambien is another big one. A lot of my clients that are on Ambien not only are addicted to it for 5, 10, 15 years, but they have a lot of suicidal thoughts on that as well. So I was just adding that that's another one out there that I feel like has a nefarious background. That's all. I was just gonna say that.
Right. All right. Let's bring us down this rabbit hole, Jackie.
Well, so whenever we're on Rumble, so anything goes, correct?
Yeah. Anything.
Okay.
goes.
Yeah.
So
So
this
far.
is interesting because I just put this together right before the conference. So when COVID was first coming out, right? One of the network of healthcare providers, alternative wellness providers that I'm in, and other psychics, there was a text of like, "Are y'all tuning in? What are you getting for this?" So when I tuned in, I got always look at the long game, right? These people are playing the long game. And I
Mm.
actually saw a fungal network, like a fungal network lighting up across the globe. And then recently, as I've been like studying the weather modification, I'm like, why are they blocking the sun? Well, UVC is like one of the best natural killers of fungus. And so now I'm theorizing because my dog just passed of cancer, and I'm like, I fed him raw. We did energy work all the time. He only got filtered water. That mofo was loved. He earthed every day. He was in the sun. But a lot of cancers now are linked to candida, which is, so I'm just like starting to put this together of like, if we're looking at the long game and this increase of cancer in people in their 20s to 30s, who were the easiest demographic to persuade to take whatever, we're on Rumble, so we're the easiest to persuade to follow medical advice around this. And if we're looking at not necessarily the virus, but the outcome of the virus, and I just have this like growing psychic suspicion within myself that it was actually to push cancer. And the reason why we're blocking the sun is because this is a long game. And the less UVC you get, the more the mold grows. So I'm just throwing
Yeah.
that out there in case anyone has felt. I've not heard anyone else talk about this, so I'm saying I know I might be a lone wolf saying this, but the more that's going on, the more I'm like, this is starting to look like something else. This was not about a virus at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then if you add the spike protein and the graphene oxide and the vaccine to that equation, turbo cancers.
Right.
Right.
It's
Well, look at the
probably-
cancer rates that in the last few years are through the roof all of a sudden, right when the jab comes out.
And
Do the math.
this push in the 90s to get rid of tanning beds, which I'm like, they're not
Mhm.
actually, when I was going through low grade depression, when I first moved to New York City, this alternative doctor was like, can you go to a tanning bed for 10 minutes a week for the next 6 weeks and get UV rays? And I did, and it helped me. And now I'm like, why? There's this elimination of like, don't go in the sun, block the sun, get rid of tanning beds. And I'm like, this is a long game that's going on. This is not a short-term thing.
Yeah,
So yeah.
and lack of vitamin D too. If you don't get the sun,
Yeah.
that's the best vitamin D. It's my body does not absorb vitamin D, only from the sun. I can take pills all day. It won't stay in.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just mention that when COVID first came out, when the vaccines first came out, I remote viewed the vaccines on a microscopic level, and I saw teeny tiny black squares, perfect squares. They're not natural in nature. I knew something
Mhm.
was in there that was going through the entire body in the bloodstream, and it was being directed to the brain. So whether they're tiny computer chips, something that they're going to release into the brain, I'm not sure about that, but I know it's something nefarious. And against my advice, my husband took the vaccines, 2 of them.
I'm sorry.
And oh my gosh, he is so scared right now. He is so scared because now he's listening to everybody else talking about it. And friends of mine have taken it, and I'm just crossing my fingers. I two young men in our circle of friends who were under 30 years old are both dead because of the vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
They,
Yeah,
Try to
they
get-
attacked their hearts.
Try to get your husband
it's
to
really
go to an
sad.
enhancement center. Because that could help correct a lot of that.
What is
Because
it
one
called?
It's called an Energy Enhancement Center. It was developed by Dr. Sandra Rose Michael. And I've got a list here of the different things that it does. Let me pull this up here on my phone. Let me just get it here. Okay.
And Walney, I was looking for that. I don't ever want to scare anyone because I always think there's things we can do, but you
You
have
can
to know.
detox.
Yeah, you
You
have
can-
to
you
know so
can-
you can address it. So
Yeah.
get some sunlight.
Well,
So-
we actually bought
There-
the Tesla med bed at the
Yeah.
Journey to Truth conference,
Yay.
and it's on the way. So he's
Yes.
going to do that definitely.
Right.
Did you get the vaccine detox sheet from her too, or not?
Not yet, but we'll
if-
be getting everything.
If not, I'll send you one too, a copy of it. And there's just great protocols on there, but there's things to do.
Okay.
Like Jackie said, not like once you're aware, that's the first step. You can totally address it. I'm not in the camp where you're dying it's inevitable that
Oh,
you're
you
gonna-
took it and you're screwed.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah. I'm-
not the case at all.
Well, here's the things that the EES system will do, Energy Enhancement System. It helps create its own stem cells for repair and healing, helps the body create its own stem cells for repair and healing, cleans the blood. That's a huge thing if you've taken the vax. It optimizes mitochondrial function. It helps to regrow telomeres, which is an anti-aging effect. And it helps repair the DNA if you're at a facility that has 24 units or more. And I went and visited this myself twice now. The first experience I had was in Murray, Utah. I went there and I had it for 4 days in a row. And I came home and I felt like Superwoman. I swear to God, I was rested. It went into my body and it took care of what I needed the most, which was to really restore me from all the years of sleep deprivation. It really was so powerful. And like I said, I really want to get it here in Pagosa for the veteran community and our community at large. But because a lot of people can't afford the travel expenses and the lodging expenses to go visit these centers, I really need to have one in your home community if we can do it. But your husband could really benefit from that, Margie.
Okay, I will definitely check it out.
right.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's all beautiful.
yeah. Uh-huh.
It's all beautiful advice, and I think there's a number of factors at play, and ironically, you remote viewed it, Margie, and I was on a mushroom trip one time, and I was shown, I was shown what the vaccine was doing to the body, and they always give you those visual analogies, and they showed the human body, but as a machine, and there was gears in the body. They just showed it to me as a machine, and they showed the shot going in, and then they showed like the needle essentially breaking off one of the gears on the wheel, and then now that gear was slipping, right, and then slowly another gear broke, and another one, and it was like this cascading failure. And it was like the machine only knew how to run one way, and it was like all of a sudden this gear was like slipping, and it was still working, but the gear was slipping, and then slowly started breaking down and breaking down and breaking down. And it was just a really interesting visual, but I feel like it's a powerful visual, and I fully believe the little black things that you saw maybe was the graphene oxide that we're seeing now.
Or nano.
Yeah.
Nanobite,
Nanites are
nano.
both.
Yeah.
I did see an article recently about, and this woman was just really shocked that this was happening, but she did some kind of research that she looked at very thoroughly, and some of the things that are in the vaccine are in the human body, building their own little microscopic AI inside the human body.
Yeah,
And
that's
what-
scary.
What could go wrong? What could go
Yeah.
wrong with
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, you're nodding your head to that. Did you have any experiences surrounding that?
There's just multiple without a doubt, multiple objectives going on. It's not one sole, like it's not all cancer. It's not all, it's like there is nanotechnology for sure. There's weird things coming out of biopsies from people like never seen before, and certainly not biological. Like there's no doubt to me that there's multiple objectives through the vaccine. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I agree.
I
Never just one objective. It's a bunch. And sometimes it's like what they do to us is like epoxy glue. They get us to get one part of it into us with chemtrails or something like that. And then they introduce something else like, 5G or whatever. And that's the other part of the epoxy. And then there's a breakdown in the health of people that have been duped into, putting things in their body that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
along with where your frequency is at.
So
Also, it's going to affect you way more if you're at a lower frequency, I think, in my opinion. So like the more you can raise your frequency and heal and strengthen your energy field and all of that, the less it's going to have an effect on you
Yeah.
as well.
I want to mention one thing. So going
I
back,
knew y'all would join me in the rabbit hole, by the way.
oh
Just-
yeah.
we hopped in here like
course.
rabbits. We
Oh,
hopped.
yeah.
I didn't jump down in. I hopped.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I want to say one thing that from my experience, from the time that I went through, from the living with these people in Seattle, the mindset and the culture that I lived under, they respected care. So people that took care of everything, like they respected that, and they disrespected what they called dull care. So all of these traps to get us to depopulation, it's across the board. All of the traps that are laid to get you are for people that take a shortcut. So look at the people that got vaccinated. Oh, did I say that online? But look at
It's
that.
rumble.
So you
We're good.
you just didn't want to be bothered with it. They said you got to do this. You're going to get in trouble. We're going to mandate the people that get it are going to not have to wear a mask. But if you don't, you're going to have to wear a mask. If you do, you're going to have to work a different shift. They started to make it so
You can't
people that
travel
maintain
unless
their
you
health,
get
you had
it.
to fight for it.
Right,
You had to
right.
fight for it. The financial system is set up the same way. If you don't fight for it and keep your P's and Q's, it's going to cost you. They have it all set up to diminish your quality of life and shorten your life, in fact. And nowadays, even put an end to your life if you're not on constant vigilant guard, because that's what they believe in. That's their mindset, that they're constantly on vigilant, because they're all service to self people, so they stab each other in the back constantly. So they're constantly in a perpetual state of taking care of every little thing, because my best friend is going to take me out, because they're service to self. That's that existence. And so the people that are just on cruise control, the people that are service to others, have peace. And so they
Right.
don't respect that, and they take advantage of that. They take advantage of the fact that
Yeah.
you say, well, you know what? I'll trust my boss at work is doing his job. Why would they lie to me? I'm going to go. Why would the news lie to me? I'm going to go ahead and just go with it. So that's how it feels when you live at peace, when you live in trusting with the world. But these people have a different mindset. That's what got them in charge in the first place of many aspects. And so they
Yeah.
worship people that are constantly vigilant, and they demonize people that are not constantly vigilant. And these traps are set up exactly for that. So if you took the easy way out, you're paying for it right now.
Yeah,
And
it's
finances,
they're like
it's drugs, it's counseling, it's all of it. It's school, everything across the entire system is designed that way.
Yep.
right,
Yep.
right. It's kill or be killed. It's service to self. It's like, well, if you took it and fell for it, then you deserved it. Because you were dumb enough to do that.
Exactly.
This is their actual mindset. This is
If you were taking care of
exactly what you
yourself,
said.
if you were taking care of all your business, you wouldn't. But you wouldn't.
It's your fault anyway. They also tell you what they're doing. That's how their magic works too, right? And they're always telling you what they're doing. They're like, well, we're telling you, and if you're dumb enough to not see that, then that's on you. It's your karma, and it's your fault.
Right.
And that's their mindset. And it's also
that's what I'm saying about the mindset behind it. So that's how you can, by keeping an eye open for that mindset, you can kind of see the traps coming. I mean, how many of us saw it coming
Yeah.
when it
I-
began?
I saw it from
Well, a
day
lot
one.
of people saw it all. It was obvious, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to us. But we know what they're like, and people that just trust the system blindly were like blindsided. They had no idea.
But right, I found out about all this information in 2012 or even a little before, so like the people that don't know anything about that, there is a control system, or there are already these dark agendas going on, and then everyone get this thing to save you from the scary virus.
Right.
A
Yeah.
lot of people, like you said, their naivete, they just trust the authorities. They trust
At
what
the
they're
very,
being told.
very beginning of this whole thing, back in, what was it, the end of 2020 or something,
Mhm.
and they were starting with the whole pandemic thing. I wrote on Facebook, and I can't find that post anymore. Maybe they deleted it. But I said, I smell a huge mind fuck on humanity coming, right at the very beginning, because I don't trust these people for anything. And now, after 4 or 5 years of this, I trust them even less. I say my trust in the medical establishment right now is at a negative 100,
Yeah. Negative
Just
1,000.
look at
Yeah.
their faces. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say the names,
Mhm.
but the people who were in charge and talking all the time on TV, they're possessed, they're evil.
Mhm,
And
exactly.
that's, was their goal.
Well,
Uh,
they're right.
Well, it's like they've woven a spell and
Yeah.
they've done it with indoctrination. They've done it with programming. They've woven this big spell over the population of the planet. And there are some people that have not fallen into the spell, or we fell into it and then had an experience that got us out of it. And a lot of those people are right here talking tonight on this program. And we see the spell for what it is. We're trying to wake other people up so that they can get out from under the spell. But a lot of people are still under the spell, and it's called indoctrination. And when the pandemic or the scandemic or the plandemic hit, that's when indoctrination became deadly.
Right.
Right.
Tell you
Well,
what, it
The
hurts me.
stakes got really high.
Yeah.
People in my community are dying because they did nothing wrong. They just trusted their doctor to do them no harm.
Right. Exactly. And
Yeah.
some people it's nobody's fault that they went and got the jab, or it's not like we're trying to demonize them, because it's literally just not understanding and not
Mhm.
knowing. So we have to have compassion. Were you gonna say something, Jackie?
Basically, in another way, the same thing. It's like a lot of people who got it don't have the same mindset as all of us here. And they're like, well, I
Right.
still believe that human beings are good,
Oh, yeah.
that we need to do this for humankind, which is actually a really beautiful thought. But like everyone here is like, these aren't humans we're talking about. Like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
with you. Human beings are good. These are not humans.
These are not
No.
humans
Don't have the same
behind
goals.
these
I know
agendas.
That's where
actually called me Typhoid Mary one time because I wasn't going to get anything, I said, oh, you're going to be one of those people,
Oh, I was ostracized from part of my family and not allowed to go to Christmas because I was the only one who didn't take the jab.
I believe
wow.
it.
I've
believe
heard a
Heard
number of stories.
So many stories.
But so that's where the real issue lies, as Jackie nailed it, is that most people, they're not in the mindset. They're not of the mindset that somebody could actually be that evil.
Mhm.
And
Right.
but that's the problem. And actually when Jim Brewer was on Roseanne, they had this amazing conversation about, like, he's like, no, like they are that evil. Like that's what people don't understand. The devil is everywhere is what he said. And that's so
Mhm.
many people are naive to that, because we're good people, and true good-hearted souls don't understand that another soul can treat somebody that way. And that's what we're dealing with, psychopaths, sociopaths, and quite literally not even human sometimes,
Right.
and non-human interference, right?
Mhm.
And like Mel Gibson said it best when he was describing Hollywood. Actually, Tony, you're talking about everybody stabbing each other in the backs, and up there in the upper echelons. Well, Mel Gibson was asked in an interview, he's like, "What's it like being in Hollywood?" He said, "It's like," he goes, "basically, it's like being forced to be friends with people that are going to stab you in the back." He goes, "That's what it's like being in Hollywood," but that's probably the whole system, not just Hollywood, right? And it was powerful when he
Yeah.
said that. So you don't become a billionaire by being a good person. Those people rely on, stepping on their fellow man to make a buck, and they don't care what it takes. So
Right.
it's just we have to understand that they don't think the way we do.
And at the top of the pyramid, it's not humans running the show. And then you have entity possession and attachment going on with humans as well. And there's this whole pyramid of control. And what does the system reward? It rewards when you go along with the agendas, when you push the agendas, when you fall into their traps. And then it censors and pushes out anything that's actually good and healing and like truth. Why, you know, go the past 100 years of like, let's say like free energy trying to come out, they squash it every time. Actual healing things coming out, oh, they squash it every time because they don't want, it's a slave system that is controlling humans. Well, there are humans going up the pyramid, but the further up, in my opinion, the pyramid you go, the more it becomes non-human, and the more
We
you have demonic stuff going on and evil, you know, you could call it evil, dark entities and darkness going on. That's not
Yeah.
human.
By the way, we have like massive trolls in the chat right now.
I was
It's
watching
hilarious.
that. I was like,
I'm
why
just
are you
deleted-
here?
I've just
Nobody cares
deleted two
about
of
what
them.
you're saying.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
nobody
Yeah,
cares.
it's
Good
probably
luck.
the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he just
hilarious.
like creating a new account every time I delete it or something.
Is that the same guy?
I have no idea,
Probably.
but that's in the third one in a row, and it's always something to do with President Trump awakening. I don't know. It's
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, I didn't even get to see any of his
Right,
trolly
um,
messages.
Yeah.
Darn.
Sherry,
Well,
what are your thoughts on all this?
The globalist agenda is based on lies. Climate change is a lie. Okay. This fact that human beings are gumming up the planet with our carbon emissions is a lie. They're suppressing free energy, which would solve
Mhm.
so many problems so that they can have their agenda and control.
Yep.
No, that's what it's all about. They're lying to us, and they're using our children to sacrifice for adrenochrome, and they're doing all kinds of crap. Okay, we cannot have a world built with these people in charge. Absolutely no way.
Boom.
Right.
See,
Boom.
this is the elevator pitch I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier.
He's back.
That
Yeah.
yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole trick is that we've been giving them the power the whole time because we've been asleep at the wheel, and they're terrified of us waking up, realizing we have the power, and that they are the tiny few and we are the many. And
Well,
the second enough of us wake up, it's game over, and that's happening. That's underway right now. We got to keep that going.
it's even more than that. They have been farming and managing our consciousness down
Mhm.
through the ages to indoctrinate us, to
Right.
produce a world that they control us. And when
Right.
we are our own jailers, because we created it from their indoctrination. We
Right.
created the Matrix from their indoctrination.
Oh yeah,
And now we have
we're
to
doing
throw
it to
that off.
ourselves
We
because
have to
they
throw-
manipulated us into doing it through thousands,
Right,
going back
exactly.
thousands of years. Right.
Yeah.
So we got to wake up and realize we've been programmed, indoctrinated to support our own slavery and our own, create
So-
our own hell on earth, basically. But there's a heaven on earth that we can create, and there's both going on right now simultaneously. I'm seeing both. I'm seeing this a beautiful awakening and beautiful things, and I'm also seeing this like
Yeah.
darkness that's pushing really hard,
Well,
and
that's
people
why
going down that road too.
That's why Journey to Truth is one of the best platforms out there, because you guys really go to the heart of it at so many levels, in so many different subject areas. You just really go for it. And I think you're doing just a brilliant job.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
I
much.
mean,
Yeah.
we can't, it's all the guests that are doing
Yeah.
all the real stuff. We're just here
Yeah, but
giving
you're
a
the
whole
focal point
space.
that
Yeah.
brings us together. You're the focal point that brings us all together. And that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So
Yeah.
Sherry, what is your elevator pitch? And he's back again. All right.
Of course he
Yeah.
is.
Just
I
ignore
think-
him.
Somebody he unlocked his clown chakra.
Yeah.
you know- I think that what's happening right now, not literally right now with the bots, but I think in our collective awakening, it's what I talked about in my presentation, and what's in a large portion of my book is the lion and the sheep. You know, historically, we have been the sheeple that they have maintained through indoctrination, as Niara has said, you know, taking our power, giving us the illusion that we're not sovereign, all of these things that they've done to manipulate us, and they are the lions. They are the small percentage that controls. But I talked about in my presentation that, you know, this awakening has a lot to do with awakening the sheeple and the lions, because everybody has that lion within them. Every single person, unless you're an NPC or unless you're part of the system, we all have all of our souls, we're all sovereign. And a lot of us are activating, and the lion within us is coming out. And that doesn't mean that you have to be an activist and that you have to write a book or you have to be out and presenting and doing elevator pitches and changing people's mind. It's just about being awake and just being conscious, and just saying something is not right in this reality. I don't know what it is, and I may not have the words to describe it, but I'm not playing along anymore. And I think that that's what's happening. People are not stupid. They're waking up and they're saying, I'm not buying into this illusion anymore. I am sovereign. I do have free will, and I'm not playing along. And in fact, I'm going to break down your illusion because I refuse to play, and I'm going to play by my own rules. And I think that that's what's happening. And we're grateful to have Journey to Truth and many other platforms where people are coming together and they're collectively recognizing and transmuting the fear porn and the sex magic and the voice of God technology, because we are breaking it down with our light. And as we evolve and as we transmute, none of their technology works. None of their shit works on us. And it's failing. And that's why we have bots in here right now, because they can't stand the fact that we're winning. So they're going to do everything that they can to break down the illusion of everyone else and to build themselves up, when in reality, they're freaking out right now because they know that they lost.
Right.
That's-
Yeah. Amen to
Right.
that. And honestly,
Amen.
like if you want to know what like a perfect example of the parasitic consciousness is like this bot right now. It's like literally a blood-sucking parasite. You just can't like there's no like these people can't survive on their own, right? They have to feed off of deluge from like putting other people down. This is a perfect example of it. And this guy, he just keeps creating a new account like every
He has like 1 million accounts.
Yeah.
He just keeps.
So I'm just
jumping back in.
deleting them, but it's a perfect example of the parasitic consciousness.
Right. I mean, this is like what a demon possessed. If this is an actual person,
It's
Right.
probably a
it's like exactly
government
what we just talked
plant.
about right here.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
probably
Government
a plant.
plant or a
Mhm.
bot. Like there are, I
Yeah.
saw a bot farm, you know, the videos with the bot farms. This one guy, he had an entire room of devices and he's literally getting paid to troll accounts. And he just goes in and starts arguments with people and for no reason. And then he was interviewed and he was asked, why do you do it? He's like, he goes, it feeds me. And he was like this, he was possessed himself. He's like, it feeds me.
Mhm.
I love it.
Right.
And and not only was he getting paid, but he was like, it was a fuel source for him.
Yeah.
Getting
So there you go.
Mhm.
Um,
I wanted
Oh,
to
here's
say,
another
I
idea. Okay,
what,
go ahead.
Tony?
wanted to add one thing that for when we look back in we're talking about the elites and how, we're led astray and everything. The people that have been pulling this off, that are still pulling this off, the elites, they've stuck together all through history, and they've had the information that we have now about consciousness, what we're getting out now. People look around us, like the people in the crowd know what we're talking about. We have psychics that we're talking about dealing with entities and people that have passed over. Like this information is coming. You couldn't say this stuff 30 years ago, and nobody listened. Nobody knew about it. The kids all know about it now. What I'm saying is these people have used all this information, these abilities, meditating and manifesting things for themselves all through history. And now, because of the medium of communication that we enjoy tonight together, it's leveling out. Like their advantage is dwindling, even though they have resources, because we're accessing the same exact mindsets that they have. So we can manifest things, and there's more of us than them. So it's because of the medium, because of the internet and because we can trade information. And a lot of us are, we walked away from the mainstream lies and kind of figured out what works and the whole mechanics of consciousness and what's going on. It's like, it's very hopeful. It's not depressing to think about it. Like we couldn't access this, like everybody else in this chat or in this meeting tonight, 30 years ago, I could not access your work. I would
Right.
have to get lucky. I would have to get lucky to find one of you to
Right.
learn what you do, or any of us here. And so now it's like bing, 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 everybody has access to us. And like I said earlier, it's growing. The trajectory is upward for what we're doing. So the people that were nefarious, that had our knowledge, the knowledge that we're all trading with each other tonight, that have taken over the world with it. And so now the knowledge is spreading out, and that's real equality for all of us. So I just wanted to make that point.
Yes.
That's really
Boom.
good.
Beautifully said.
Absolutely.
I have an idea I'd like to throw out into the mix here.
Bring it
As
on.
as a person who supports Trump, and I
Yeah.
didn't always support him. I'll tell you what, I didn't vote for him in 2016, and I kind of had thoughts about him, but I've really studied him, the past several years, especially during his presidency. And I really do come to believe that his presidency derailed the globalist agenda, and they've been struggling like crazy to get it back on track. And because they're trying so hard to get it back on track according to their timeline, they're really revealing themselves to the population of the planet in a way that they might not have done had there not been a Trump presidency. And people are
Yep.
waking up. And so I find myself thinking more and more and more that maybe the last 4 to 5 years has been by design, call it Q or the Q drops or the Anons or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's been by design as a way to deprogram the population of the planet, at least as many people as can be deprogrammed from their indoctrination. Maybe that's what this has been all about the last 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so I
absolutely.
think like whether you love Trump or hate him or whatever,
Yeah.
I think it's undeniable what you just said is that that 4 years was a catalyst that derailed the global agenda, regardless of if you liked him or not. If you
Mhm.
understand the bigger picture here, I think it's pretty much irrefutable, the
Yeah.
evidence that that's exactly what happened and is still happening. And now it's like, they've been so used to operating behind the curtains like Wizard of Oz, right? And the curtain's been pulled back and we see every move, every false flag, every psyop. The second they do it, we're on it. Even before they do it, we can predict that it's going to happen. We understand, we see
Right.
right through it. The illusion has faded. We're destroying the illusion, right?
Yep.
And I don't think they know how. It's almost like they're glitching out. They don't know what to do because as fast as they try to do something, they fall flat on their face and they shoot themselves in the foot every step of the way. And ultimately, it's it's having the opposite effect. And the dark always serves the light. And really, it's only gonna. It's just it's their own demise. The machine is consuming itself,
Yep.
and we're here doing our
Watch-
part, and everybody's playing their part right now.
Yeah. I think of the fembots in Austin Powers having a meltdown.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Um.
Right, and the harder they push, because they're getting more desperate, which means they're pushing harder, which is waking more people up, which means they're getting more desperate, which means they're pushing harder, which is it's as
They can't
like
win.
they can't win. They're destroying themselves. So it's like it's like Sun Tzu Art of War. Never interfere with an enemy when they're destroying themselves. That's what's
Yeah.
happening right now. And humanity is good. Humans are good at the core. We are connected to source, and we just need to wake up, in my opinion. And the more we can get in our heart and connect to our soul, the less the programming works on us, because now we're not stuck solely in our mind, and that's where the programming can have, keep us locked in, and the ego and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I see that happen. So it's like there's the spiritual awakening at the same time as just the information awakening, and people realizing there's way more to reality in general than they realized. Like we're UFOs and ETs are real. Like that's more than I've ever seen in the last like 5-10 years. Mainstream is talking about it. The ETs are disclosing themselves. Like the UFO sightings are off the charts. That's expanding our consciousness because we're realizing we're not alone. More people than ever before, realizing like it's
Well,
not
the
just us.
kids are being born into a world where we're not alone, and that changes
Right.
everything. to me.
Right. It changes everything. Right.
And Tony, you know how hard it is not to delete you from the chat right now?
So, Tony's trolling our
Yeah,
chat
he's
now.
trolling the chat.
Yeah.
You're muted. Yeah.
I'm not going to be outdone by that guy.
Yeah.
I've got
Somebody-
way more where that came from.
Well, we got to change the tagline to Tony wears diapers, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tony-
Tony was
yeah.
right.
Somebody said Tony's new show is Troll with Tony.
Yeah, that's what Victor
Troll
just said.
with
Troll
Tony.
with Tony.
Yeah.
I have a
Anyway,
hand in-
guys, thank
honestly,
you
it
so
felt
much.
kinda good.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. I guess we'll start wrapping this up. This was a blast, and we covered some extremely important topics, I think. We brought the trolls out, so that's always a good sign. And, thank you all for
Yes.
being here. And I wish everybody could have joined us who was presenting at the conference, but it just gets to be too much sometimes. It's hard to have that many people in the discussion. So if you're listening to this and you were at the conference, we appreciate each and every one of you. And, thank you all for doing what you do. And any final words from anybody, that just anything you want to say before we go ahead and close this down?
Stay in your heart. Stay in your heart.
That's,
Yes.
I think, the
Yeah.
end, right?
That's
Honestly,
that's
love,
it. Seriously.
No, I do want to actually, I do want to say something before we wrap this up. So, I went out to dinner with my roommate the other night, and I was like, "Where do you want to go?" And he's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Well, let's just get in the car and drive." We got in the car, and he's like, "What about that place? I saw this bar I drove past earlier, like, but whatever." I'm like, "Oh, I think I know what you're talking about." So we went there, and he's like, "Yeah, that's the place." And then, how about that table in the corner? Sure, we sat in that corner, and I'm sitting here listening. I overhear these two people at the table next to me. I overhear them talking about archons and consciousness and chemtrails, and I was like, did I hear archons? Long story short, like that guy, like he has been on this journey of this awakening journey, and he hasn't found anyone yet. And he was there with his mom. He was probably my age or older, and he was there with his mom, who was even older. And his mom was just so grateful. She's like, I can't believe you guys are here right now. He has been looking for people, and he is not, doesn't know where to go. And I told him about this local meetup and our podcast, and he was just lit up from the inside out. And he was like, started going off on his whole spiel. And he had already come to the conclusion that love was the answer. And it was this beautiful thing. But because he was talking, because he was saying something in public that I overheard him, that now he's on a completely different trajectory, and he's going to start coming to the monthly meetups. He's probably even watching right now. I don't know.
Nice.
But it's the importance of talking about this stuff when you go out to dinner, when you go out anywhere, because you never know who's going to overhear you, and you never know where it's going to take you and what it's going to lead to. So that's what I'll
Yeah.
end.
Growing.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Yes.
your field, because David Icke said that, you just walk around and you have truth in your energy field. And you can walk down the grocery store aisle and somebody is standing next to you buying a can of beans where you can't buy in a can of beans. And they start having new ideas hatching in them just because they were exposed to your energy field.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It really does
Right.
trend that way.
100%. Yeah.
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 All right. So
Exactly. We don't realize how much we're always affecting each other through our energy fields all the time, whether we realize it or not. Absolutely.
exactly.
Mhm.
And Tony, where can people buy tickets for your conference? Where's the website?
OdysseySedona.com. I put it in the chat earlier. Let me see if I still have it. Copy and paste.
OdysseySedona.com for the October 19th. Tony, his one-day hit, and I'll be there. Lily Nova will be there. Jackie Kenner will be there, among many others. And then Margie, let the audience know one more time where they can get tickets for the UNX or the XCon.
unxnetwork.com/xcon, or
All
just go
right.
to unxnetwork.com and click on it.
And I'll add those into the description below. I don't have those in there, but I'll be at both of those events, and we don't have the information yet for the one Aaron and I are speaking at in September. Does anybody else want to make any final announcements for any other events or anything?
Oh, me.
Okay.
My book's coming out in a couple of weeks, Courage to Change the Freedom Movement. I'm really excited about it. So stay tuned for that.
And that's going to be just an
Awesome.
Amazon release or?
Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay, great.
Can't wait
Awesome.
for that. Yay.
Awesome. So grab some tickets, come hang out with us. It's going to be a fun year of conferences and events. And, I know Aaron's got some amazing trips planned, and we're just going to have a lot of fun this year and make the best of it. So we love you all. Thank you for being here. And until next time, have a great evening. Good night.
All right.